Oh, hello. It's your big sister Chloe. And as your big sister, I'm here to give you some advice. It might feel a bit unsolicited, but that's what big sisters are for. And as always, you can take or leave whatever resonates with you or what doesn't. And honestly, I just want to see you grow and be the best version of yourself, as cheesy as that sounds, and just make healthy decisions. And today I want to tell you about why I started going to see a therapist. And let me start this story by telling you one piece of advice that will be useful for different situations for you. When your check engine light is on your car, listen to it. Now you may be thinking, Chloe, big sister, why is this important? What does this even mean? And I will tell you why with a story. So in 2016, I moved back to Guam, where I'm from, to work as a news reporter. And I knew I was only going to be there for a couple of years, so I didn't want to buy a whole new car. I ended up just using my stepdad's old car from when we were on Guam before we moved in 2010. He got this when I was like in 6th grade in 2004. I'm old. And obviously, since this car was like 13 years old at the time, there were going to be some car issues with it. And every time there was a problem with the car, you know, obviously the lights will show up on the dashboard if there's something wrong, like you need to check the engine, you need to fill your tire air or whatever. Wait, I don't know anything about cars. You know what I mean. But yeah, basically anytime there was a problem with my car, I would just kind of ignore it. And just hope that it would go away. But obviously, you know that if you just keep ignoring your car, it's gonna keep getting worse. And it was at the point where when I was driving, it would be shaking like this. It was actually kind of embarrassing because my friends didn't really want to ride in my car because it's scary. And I don't really know why I ignored it. I think I just mostly wanted to just pretend that the problem wasn't there and hope that it would go away. And this is where it ties into mental health. So basically when I knew I need to start going to therapy, I had all of those flashing lights like on my dashboard of my mind or my body telling me that it's time to see a professional because there are some things going wrong and you need help. But just like with the car, I was completely willing to ignore it, ignore all the lights, my check engine light. My body was basically shaking like the car. And there were a lot of signs that I needed to start seeing a mental health professional. So one of them was that I was having a lot of emotional breakdowns. And one story about this is when my boyfriend went back to California to go visit his family for a month when we were living on Guam. After I dropped him at the airport, I went home and it felt like a piece of my heart was missing, not to be cheesy, but I was crying like I felt like somebody died or that my limb was ripped from me. And you know, as much as I love my boyfriend, I still know that I was gonna be okay if I wasn't around him for a month. I wouldn't die or anything like that. But I didn't know until I started seeing a therapist later that my childhood wounds were being triggered. So when my boyfriend and I moved in together in 2018, a lot of my childhood wounds were being stirred up. I didn't deal with any of these issues that I had as a child, you know, with my parents or my own upbringing, and I needed to see a therapist to ask the questions to help me think about different parts of my childhood or different things I had experienced and look at it in a more objective lens or a more removed position, because obviously I'm no longer a child and I can look at the past from a different perspective as an adult and let go of some of the things that I was holding on to as a child. Another flashing light that said that I needed to get some maintenance. Wait, what if we are like bots or like hosts like in Westworld and we all need maintenance, but my role as a host is to get the rest of you to go get maintenance and we're living in a simulation? Ooh, comment down below if you want me to talk more about simulation theory and why I think we're living in a simulation for real. Okay, my ADHD brain can swim all over the place, so we need to focus her, get her on track. And another flashing light that said that I needed to go see a therapist was that I was always irritable. So at this time I was working a lot, I was working as a news reporter and just constantly busy. I would have days where I would work from like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. sometimes, and it was just overwhelming and stressful. So when I got home, I would just kind of, you know, emotionally take it out on my boyfriend, which I still feel really guilty about because it wasn't his fault and I shouldn't have been doing that, but I just had these issues that I was just completely ignoring and it manifested as anger. I would basically just be looking for excuses to lash out because I was just always feeling restless and unhappy inside. And another way that I would deal with this unhappiness and irritability in me was that I would constantly overeat. I would do a lot of binge eating. And this was also another flashing light that said that I needed to go get help because my eating was going almost uncontrollably. Like I just couldn't stop myself from overdoing it every day. When I got home, I would just look forward to snacking on different Asian snacks that I could get from mom and pop stores near my house, or like ice cream, candy, chips, anything just to make me feel temporarily happy in that moment. And I've had this issue with binge eating junk food ever since I was a kid, really. And when I became an adult, I really let that go unchecked because I didn't have parents to make sure that I was doing it in a healthy way. And all of that is also tied into different emotional issues that I had to sort through when I started going to see a therapist. And you can read about my dealing with emotional triggers and binge eating in a blog post that I've written on lovescrewed.com if you want to check that out. But yeah, I just gained so much weight and I didn't really know how to stop myself from overeating or what to do about it. So yeah, I need to see a therapist for that too. And this relates to another flashing light that was showing that I need to go see a therapist, is that I was always fatigued and I had a lack of motivation and energy. So I would go, honestly, like months without exercising at all. When I'd get home from work, my boyfriend was really fit and motivated, and every day he would work out, and he always wanted to promote, healthy lifestyle for me too. So he'd be like, hey, you want to work out today, or are you gonna work out? And I would just be like, oh, what, you think I need to work out? You think I'm gaining a lot of weight? Like, what are you trying to say about me? And I would just kind of use that as another excuse to get mad at him and take my irritability out on him. I really regret being that way, but we learn from our mistakes, and I've worked on healing my relationship with him too and trying to do better. And last of all, one of the biggest flashing lights that said that I needed to go to therapy was that I was feeling very empty and it felt like my life was meaningless. And it sounds really sad and serious when I say it like that, but honestly, it was sad and serious at the time. I had a lot of blessings in my life at that time. I had lots of friends who I'd had since childhood. I had lots of extended family. I had my grandparents. I had a lot to live for. I had a good job and a nice position in the community where people valued what I had to say. But I still felt like everything was really overwhelming and that underneath I just wasn't really happy, and I was wondering, why can't I be happy? I have so much to live for. It just felt like there was something in me that felt very hollow. I remember this one time clearly when I was going to the grocery store. I just remember thinking, I don't have any control over my life. I just felt like on the weekdays I go to work, I go home, I binge eat, and then rinse and repeat the next day. And then on the weekend, we have family functions and obligations that I feel like I have to go to if I want people to respect my family or not, think lowly of my parents for how they raised me. That's called living on an island in a small community. And we'll talk about boundaries more in another video. Ooh, also, I've written about boundaries and setting boundaries with your family, which you can also check out on lovescrewed.com. So yeah, anyway, I just felt like even though I had a lot to live for, I felt like I had no control over the things that I was doing in my life. I felt like I was doing everything for everybody else and pushing down my needs and ignoring all of it to be there for the other people in my life. So all of this to say, when your car flashes its check engine light, listen to it. And when your body tells you you're having lots of issues with overeating, you don't have any motivation or energy to do anything, you feel overwhelmed, you feel empty and meaningless, listen to those lights. Because your body has this innate wisdom. It knows what you need, and it's up to us to listen to our bodies and honor that. Because we only have one body and we need to treat it right. We are an embodiment of all of our ancestors and the people who've gone before us to get us to this point where we are in life. Something I tell myself when I'm not doing what I need to or not being a big girl and doing my big girl responsibilities is that my grandpa didn't survive World War II for me to sit around and be a little bitch. So yeah, just like take care of yourself. If you're not going to do it for you, do it for your ancestors. Do it to honor the people who've come before you to give you this life that you have. I urge you to take care of yourself because you are important, you're worthy, you are needed, you're on this earth for a reason, and I care about you. Even if I don't know you, I still think you deserve care and love, and I want you to do what's best for your health. And I'm about to start crying here. Hello, Pisces sun. I just want you to do what's best for you, and I'm here to tell you how I learned what's best for me. And it might not always be the same between us, but I just hope I can give you a little nugget of wisdom and that hopefully it can help you somehow in your life. So that being said, if you want me to talk about other things you could use advice on in relationships, mental health, relationships with friends, healing your inner child and healing those wounds, ancestral wounds maybe, yeah, I'm here to talk about any of that and to help you on your journey as I go along mine. So if you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!